Alrighty-o. Well, we all knew that this day was coming sooner or later, so I'm going to take you step by step through the public announcement that was made on GameFAQs.com yesterday at 6:37 p.m. to announce the official semi-retiring of the competitive scene for Transformers Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron, respectively. There's a little bit more detail into it as for the WFC aspect of it all, as it goes into a huge historical background to the community that I can't really delve into on this post, as a lot of FOC people don't generally know WFC like that, except for probably Straxus. But I will delve into that in my next segment. This one will be concerning this segment. So, starting with the retirement speech that I started into here. This will be a few pages, but this doesn't take that long. Going into writing this speech was rather thought-heavy, but now that I'm here, it's not that sad as I had imagined it would be. I'm still willing to contribute to the community's advancement for all of us talking with each other still as we can in life, and it's still really heartwarming standing here today in order to state all of this. I'm going to break down the parts regarding tact, then AOC, and then myself personally. So, bada bing, bada boom, let's hop right into it. Now, much of the dead weight having held tact back or clashed with tact needlessly has been long gone due to a lot of varying complication, confusion, indecisiveness, pride, ego, procrastination, or lack of motivation. As much as I don't want to succumb to negativity, the start of 2018 I thought would honestly be the end of tact, or a further degradation to whatever sanity I had left doing whatever I do when I have time to be on or wanting to be available to do things. There were a total of 3 prior internal collapses before the last one that happened as of February 2018 that honestly almost did us in to the point where I had to shut everything down temporarily to kick out all of the dead weight that was very clear, to allow the actual vocal people who care about tact to attempt to re-establish comfort zones again. All dramatic BS was out of my clan at the time to ascertain direction, but it came at a price of general activity and people needing space, since a bunch of indecisive sheep being told to leave was unsettling for people whom then likely left out themselves anyways. During Tact's inactivity, it slowly evolved into a private and closely held gaming community that spread to other games while keeping in contact with those left that they wanted to connect with, or that they did connect with. Tact on PlayStation 4 has now evolved into a fully adaptive private online community where people can play with their friends across varying games and pursue game nights for casual play or fun, and intense competition to hone our skills, both equally to appeal to the needs in the group regarding factors of tact wanting to continue to be more of a casual game-playing group, and those equally wanting tact to be a vastly more competitive group to establish a better balance of members, which was 2 strong arguments solved by one ideal that took me a long time to see to accordingly for this whole venture later on down the road once everybody made up their goddamn mind. But this was its own reward. The 2017 Tact expansion project I created is now complete for Tact Inc., as past Tact players, Tact supporters, our friends and family all together can now play casually and competitively across not just the Transformers games, but also on Rainbow Six Siege, Overwatch, Destiny 2, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Battlefield 1, Fortnite for our kids and our players' kids and all them and all that stuff, and Monster Hunter World Online. The work in seeing Tact through to the endgame, where it fully prospers, has been successful finally after a 3, now 4-year struggle. I only wish that Argonarg and Skull could have still been here today to see how far Tact finally came after all these years, from where the three of us began and having Tact being a difference-making group of people where it was years ago. Also, I give my thanks out to those before my time whom are part of the reason why Tact took off like it did in 2015. From the whole first unofficial clan battle that we had against Elite Overlords, Elite Legends in 2015, that we had at somewhere around New Year's, I want to say, close to New Year's, when we had the clan battle, Christmas time, somewhere around December. And when I had that whole challenge request that I sent to LM personally to challenge him to battle, as well as the official public debut clan battle that we had against Darkmount Gaming in the 2016 Clan Battle League cycle. So, to you guys, I do thank you, as Tact took off from there in order to be something greater than what it was at that time. So, Straxus, Megatron, Numtees, and Torquinus, I thank you guys. Alright, up next was during my administration, or the small tenure in which I had one for the Alliance of Chaos and those guys. And all the young folks that were out of that clan, when you guys had wanted me to be the leader, or the co-leader for the Alliance of Chaos. So, this is during my era in AOC, and this is where the AOC Zeus tag does originate from. So, also amidst Tact's inactivity, while some went their separate ways for a time to escape the drama or thereof, I decided to briefly turn attention to the Tact's PS4 expansion so they can be happy, and then go inactive myself for a time in order to catch up on my personal affairs and get myself back on track as a whole. Then the Alliance of Chaos came into the picture rather suddenly amidst my pending falling out of the competitive scene around mid-2018, since Tact kind of had a wrap-up point suddenly on a very bad note that I just have to accept. I saw that they needed guidance to be a great clan from the ground up, to seek out a good experience for those wanting to join their cause, and so the Alliance of Chaos sought me out to join them during my inactive time, or during a time which I did seek to be inactive. They even, ironically enough, had voted to want me to co-lead alongside the founder of AOC, which was Grimwave the King. Even though I wasn't sure about really joining at that time after Tact's drama or any of that. I stated that it was okay for them to place my name on the roster till I sort things out mentally and physically in real life to figure out if I really wanted to do this gig with the Alliance or not. Ultimately, I did still settle on it, even though I did have my reservations, but eventually I didn't have any, because it was a very wholesome experience, as I was soon able to find out. The Alliance was a beautiful experience that I was honored to be a part of. Many of you guys out there learned a lot that was able to be harnessed on a whole other level. What took Tact months to get right after a lot of trial and error with constantly varying results, the Alliance of Chaos learned literally in days through the same training regime and the same outlines, created at a faster success rate and with constantly improving results. This was like the most amazing thing I've ever seen in leading a clan. The amount of teamwork in AOC was amazing, and it felt rewarding that everything had finally clicked like it needed to very early in the run that I had in there, and that the run that the Alliance had, and not later on, or much later on after the fact, or after something important happened. I left a few months after the clan was established because of a couple of things, but it wasn't because of how the success rate in the clan was. This was other factors. Example one is that I wanted the teamwork to settle in without me needing to be around that much, or in a sense cutting off people that felt that they have to summon me all the time, rather than only specifically. And Reason 2 was because I didn't want the Alliance of Chaos to be viewed as my clan when it wasn't, and it is not, nor is it never my place to lay claim of. While while the strategies created were mostly mine, that were there for everyone to apply or edit for better or direct effectiveness, it's a gift that I gave to them. It's not something that I want to own anymore in that regard. It's the only thing that I could say that I lay claim of is just the strategies. But that's what I gave to them to apply, and then they can make it their own for strategies in the Alliance of Chaos, not by me anymore. They're there for their own application. The clan business was conducted by me, but the carrying out of everything that was laid out for a clan was done by Grimwave and others that I did oversee. Creating a specified training outline for players, making select appearances to establish business and/or team morale and establish good direction and guidance, my own select training in order to stay limber and to keep pushing myself, and I could do it on my own terms now. I didn't have to do it in order to try to have that whole carrying mindset. Being online to have status reports and being updated about things regarding the Alliance of Chaos, and then being off to deal with real life. That was basically my attitude when I was in the Alliance of Chaos. That was my whole attitude. I was playing to be a part of a clan to play for me, not to lead a clan per se, as there was already an actual leader. He needed some guidance himself to help things along in AOC's favor correctly. And my advice was always there for him, and it's always there for the Alliance of Chaos. And sure enough, in the end, we got there. While the Alliance of Chaos didn't last long enough to be in the finals like I had hoped after much varying application with constantly elevating progress, they did, however, rise to be a top-tier clan and team of 2018, precisely like I knew they could be in the end when all was said and done. I don't care about the win-loss ratio, however many fools want to believe that winning is everything. It's the teamwork in said team that creates winners. As much of an illusion as some people want to believe, no team is perfect, but can only do its best using its own devices. I will say for the most part that if a clan has good chemistry, that also plays a very positive factor as well in one's general progressions as a team. Next is moving on into self-reflection. And so turning the mirror on myself, I do question at times why I chose to push myself so far to be the competitive monster or fighter I am today. But I know why I did what I did. I did this for tact, and in the end of it all, I did this for me. The mindset back then slowly developed due to the toxicity I was exposed to more than the positivity. A lot of the community there in 2015 past was the constantly judgmental types, racism even here surprisingly enough, the condescending types, the egotistical types, the fire starters, the ignorant elitism, the blaming of others with the blame game bullshit, and the vague online verbal abuse. And it's not funny. This is what I've seen in my journey, and it is enough to shed tears at times, or can ultimately ruin a lot of people's experiences. I was determined to stay here and to continue to enjoy what I came here to do and what I came here to play, even if my feelings were always going to be hurt. I'm not going to be ran out of here just because of a bunch of whining babies and butthurt team players that don't want to see new players around or choose not to help people. I put myself through a lot of personal practice and repetition to attain a level of combative mastery that only I can have for the type of tactical gameplay that I bring against other tacticians in obvious sheer brute force. I was always pushing myself too far till I couldn't take any more of this damn community, or the competition that never seemed to help in what would have been the correct sense. I had my teachers of the gameplay that I learned from once upon a time, but with their attitudes towards me over time between communities, I feel that my eventual complete surpassing over them left a very unfortunate foul taste to them that I never intended to have. Like, mentally, I only wanted to be an equal to all once I realized that my true potential lied not just in my skills, but also my intellect. But in reality, I see this could not be, as needless jealousy would seek to take hold. I did still try to be happy playing a lot, but in a deeper aspect, I just stayed playing while angry for a long time. I can't even hide that, honestly. The trials of always dealing with players that never knew what to do or how to do it, or not thinking for themselves. I have to think for them a lot of the time, years up to now, when it finally kicks in for itself. The impatience of people always getting mad at me for our losses or taking frustration out on me and Arg once upon a time. The frustration of being undermined by my peers. Some of us are cool now, but back when you first met me, no, you weren't. As so few chose to help me get started, whereas countless more choose not to assist me or help me in the early years. Most of you just ignorantly ditching me for my competition, or rather just I was snubbed or spat on altogether, or just looked down on further. The rage of always being underestimated because I apparently suck too much, too often to be a leader, or because my team sucks too much to amount to anything. There was honestly too many times to where it was basically a norm that I would be playing FOC with anger over enjoyment, in joyful good fun, to simply just protect what's mine, that's always threatened or falling apart. While there were many times I was too tired to do much after the massive matches, there were also many times amidst those atmospheres, in a sense, where it paid off greatly having this mindset linger like a lingering effect, as I was able to see the many important or definitive matches that defined a vast amount of success gained in a short time of constant application. Then of course there's those 2 or 3 select matches that I'll always be discredited for no matter what happens. So Fame or Bastion or Stefan Lee, I thank you for the needless crap I get for having made the impossible happen when I defeated you guys at your own game, on your own terms, on your own host. As much as you beat me, you've lost at least 1 or 2 games that you always choose or chose to forget. And those were all, to me, Rodimus Prime. As much as it hurts you that much to accept it that I'm that good, or that I was that good at one point. All I wanted was a great handshake on a great and intense game that I truly had to give 110% maximum. But you chose to spit in my face instead. But hey, that's life, right? Next page. I feel I've accomplished greatness in much I've sought to contribute to this community's prosperity, if not having gone above and beyond what some past people have done during their general active times through this community. Greatest of all time level of contribution and respect paid to the players of the past history, as well as the future players oncoming eventually taking their places. This is coming from someone who wasn't good at all, who originally wasn't good at playing this game when I first started playing. But business picked up right away as I grew to challenge false prophets or overpowered wannabes and, of course, clearly the true gods of the video game eras that happened in this community, or communities, as humble as they are and were, and I value that. Also, I thank you out there for the respect and good competition that was always shown by the past clans, and that was demonstrated through good morality. I thank you all out there for your kindness. Even after the heat of war we embraced or sought to ignite, it was still a good game fought. Others out there, even though we didn't have a chance to battle, in the long run of it all, I actually had a chance to meet you in the community. Through all the various games I branched out to in my PS4 journeys, I had a chance to meet all you guys. This goes out to Elite Overlords, the Masters of Destruction leaders. Not the clan, unfortunately, but the leaders. WCW, WCG, the LOD clan, Legion of Darkness, DMG, the Dark Mount Gaming clans, TW, the Wreckers clan, TSF, Transformers Special Forces, PF, the Pride of Festoon, LSC, Lightning Strike Coalition, ACW, Ancient Cybertronian Warriors, TFL, the Forgotten Legion, FURS, Furious Delta, and Intent. And an honorable mention, while I didn't have a chance to go head-to-head, or TAC didn't have a chance to go head-to-head against the clan, we met many of its members after the fact in our return to the community. An honorable mention will be Clan Havoc. Also, this next piece here is to the clan family and the members for MOD, the Masters of Destruction. The Fantasy Boy and the Pro Destroyer. I'm very sorry that we weren't able to see to the MOD versus TACT of 2016 during your brief clan revival. I honestly wanted that match more than anything, to go head-to-head against all of you, which was likely the strongest German-based clan at that time, and I knew without a doubt TACT could bring it. Plus, you and me could go at it too, in like the most epic one-on-one ever. It derives from my point here, but hell, I had a whole banner set aside for how it is I wanted to actually go about doing that for Pro Destroyer versus Rodimus Prime. It would be like one of the best matches ever in my whole run on Fall of Cybertron, to go head-to-head against the founder of one of the most prestige, historically grandfather-based clans in the history of this video game's existence. And I get to not only meet him, but fight him in a one-on-one. Oh, hell yes! But anyway, I derive from my point. As I was stating in my point, a couple of things almost fell apart at that time, between members falling out of TACT or just ditching it all in all for quote-unquote better clans, and so I'm left without fully reliable players. And then there's Syzax working with her friends in real life more than being on or off to herself, which was fine because she's been TACT's most loyal player that I've had, and so I respect her wishes at the time, and I did respect her wishes at the time, to hold off rather than rush things when we don't have stable members or any steady organization. That's one of the few things that, yes, I did cover up, or covered up, because it would have embedded further complication in how TACT was going at that time. I'm really not proud of that. I know it possibly looked cowardly at the time, but it's a cross that I chose to bear, so it could, and I could collect the correct image for TACT, or the correct image that TACT needed to expand on so positive results could blossom more. I hope you guys understand why now. I only wish that time could have been kind enough to give us that one solid weekend to make the magic happen. Going through, I also state my thanks to all 12 of the players I took on as my second-in-commands in the field through all of TACT's most definitive battles through the years, and has helped to build TACT from our start throughout all 5 of my TACT administrations into this clan community that we presently have arrived at. Actually, there's about 13 in total, but I named these 12 before 2013. So, first of all, there's Atlas Obey, that's tact Makeshift. There's ROWD Campers, Savita, that's Ice Campers. Tact Campers. There's Jacob the Usher, that's tact Rat Trap. There's Jack 714, that's tact Jackie. 5 Alan the Homie 7, that was tact Optimus. Flint Heart, that's tact SSJ Goku. Jamaz is TUH Spidey. Con Brawl, Spencer. Angela Bays, tact Swindle. Grimwave the King, it's tact Vortex. Moonwalker, it's tact Azrael. And 12 WTF Server, tact Tigertron. Honorable mention there is going to be Hoodie Killer. Hoodie Killer contributed to tact enough to where I could have honestly given him the role of a vice commander if he wanted it. He turned it down right away, but I would have given him the position if he had wanted it or asked. It would have been a no-brainer. Also, I pay my respects to Alan. Rest in peace, my friend. I give much respect to his ideals and his outspoken nature and perspective on a lot of the early dealings that I had and a lot of the business I conducted in the early era of this community. And to you and to Tim, I thank you guys for the memories that we've had in the early days going up against Nod and a lot of our adventures in pub and the clan battles. Honestly, I thank you for it all. I'll cherish it all. Next page. I also thank you to all the proteges I worked with during their time intact over the years. I believe there was about 9 or 10 of you young guys, even a bit from AOC that I personally trained or had worked with, as you made your own impactful road towards being the player you are now, or that you were at the point where it mattered most to stand up for what matters to you. The players you are now that you feel most comfortable as. I'm blessed to have met you guys as we continue to see the newer platforms together. My goal was to help you guys be all that you can be in this environment in the correct sense, with positive enrichment into follow-through, and absorb much of what I taught you that you then made into your own playing styles. Not teaching you everything I knew, however, as this was to ensure that you all have the chance to effectively surpass me, while not ending up suffering my same fate, knowing everything that I may know. And so to you all, Fib 1, Weavern 1313, X Kills, E.G. Quake, The Wheats, Marcus to Junior 11, Ripper Adem, to a Phantom, Soundwave 417, Brave Shadow Anime, Skylar Jesse, Noah Benbug, Grimwave the King, Newman 30, Golden Prime 99, Shentaliv, Redisai, and Arclight 1. I'm proud of all your guys' hard work in making your own stories be told through the test of time. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. Next, in addition, I also thank you out there to Bolts and Brains and Edjo both from our work in the 2015 Freedom Fighters Alliance of Cybertron, the FFA, and our accepted service to WFC community in our dedication towards stopping glitchers and hackers from reigning supreme over WFC. Our brief reign over WFC was a very wonderful era where so many great games were seen to with our friends, where common sense and decency was instilled into the many, and respect was earned through good and greater games we all fought in the wars waged, before glitchers fought to take it all back from us. Though the Freedom Fighters didn't stay around long enough to have a bigger impact, unfortunately, and our efforts seemingly were in vain as WFC is ultimately no more now. Many of the players still here and there do remember the simpler times we fought so hard to give to WFC. Even Chris Ratchet, if you can believe it. Like, no bullshit. I'm on Fortnite sometimes with Smarty on some nights, and then I hear his dad in the background on mic and just jiving on about WFC Past with me and Bolts and Edge, Dark Warrior, and our group of iconic idiots. And there was a good story I tagged here. I remember people talking about us through Kick one time where the Mafia and Demolishers and the Titans of Cybertron glitchers were labeled us our own little bounties, like some crap out of One Piece where everybody had a bounty. Starting from at the top with Bolts, Edge, A11, and the Dax. And then all the way down at the bottom of those bounties specifically was Jacob the Usher, Sergeant Doom, and me. Because but we ain't even worth the 2 cents. I thought it was some bullshit. I think we were totally worth the ass kicking. You can kick our asses faster than them, but we're just as equally worth it. Tact is still set to be here in the 2019 New Day, and I'll be overseeing this still for as long as there's competition afoot, and I can also have my alone time to clear my head. I also, thanks to my current 14th Vice Commander for my present administration, that is Sax. As she's not able to be on PSN anymore due to working, Sax is still here on PSN. As I contrast many of my strategies with her to clarify what kinks need to be taken out of my general tactical layouts, rather than always having to adjust everything on the fly, because I always have to work around people that aren't good or can't be good at doing different things constantly as I ask or would ask. Sandra has been with Tact here since my second administration launched in January of 2016. Among Tact's most loyal and honest followers, she wants nothing more than to see our group succeed as well as its members. I don't seek another Vice Commander at this time, as I feel I cannot trust others with this specific responsibility to be true, sensible, trustworthy, or general open-minded to tact-based continuation in the correct image without pending corruption or more messes that may be made that I would likely need to clean up when I shouldn't need to. Many in Tact are happy, and I'm happy with where we are right now across platforms without needing to take another risk that personally affects everything now re-established in this balancing act. Okay, and lastly, my respects go out to all forms of friendly general opposition that helped me to reach the newer heights of creativity I've been climbing towards and that I still aspire towards. Not just for this gridiron, but the whole PlayStation spectrum yet to come. I used to question myself a lot in always being that guy that many people need or depend on. That difference maker that always comes in and has to lock it down. My combat against many fighters painted the bigger picture in my training that I push on myself and that I demonstrate to my team. The experience is ever growing. I focus on in leading and instructing, or being stronger than I always was to reach a higher plateau I have to call upon, and then respectively paying it forward. In bettering myself, I instill those traits into tax structure, as many newer faces come or go in our ranks. The influence is there all the same. Advisor or teacher or mentor or boss or leader or figurehead, whatever it is that I seem to be given. I owe this to you guys, as I always see the bigger picture of many things through my days and social interactions with many, and the many more yet to come. So to Edge, A11, Cybertron 555, Ethan, Dragon, LGFMB, Dark Primus, Numpties, Aswin, Torque, the Dax, Pro Destroyer, Straxus. My thank you to you guys. I can finally sit and enjoy my time online or when I'm available more often with a fair amount of organization and vastly less distraction or unwanted haste to uncertainty. I can have a lot more time to myself without always being called upon or relied on so much, or rushed as more people are thinking or making a decent effort to think for themselves through rational reasoning and problem solving. I only wish that more people nowadays could have had that mindset, the whole resourcefulness, the creativity, the respect, and the perseverance to rise up and create good order and a sense of positivity that could stand for a generation instead of flickering back and forth or was lacking for a long time regardless. I take a look back throughout the history that came before, occasionally reading, learning, and accepting that of the preceding era to establish proper change and direction in the new era here, where we are now. It's given me much guidance for what to do or what to say, what not to say, and how to prioritize people or places and events. No offense to the past era of gaming when I say this, as there's too much conflict of interest from that time. There's more bad events eventually that weighed out the good. There's a lot about the golden era of the Transformers video games, WOC and FOC, and probably Dark of the Moon too. From the ones I've studied anyway, for the past 3-4 years back. There's a conflict of interest between clans and the nature of gaming, even during your guys' time. That was rather ignorant, selfish, unrash, sloppy, and biased that often led to unneeded backstabbing from many of your era. Much of this, I feel, should never be repeated in the next generation. If they would or may only be dumber than the preceding, and would do the same thing not knowing how to do better by each other. My goal in becoming so involved with our communities was to make WOC and FOC both a great game experience for people around me. Not for you guys, but for the generation that was playing the past few years as you guys were walking away from this scene amidst rooted drama embedded in this game's early years. I sought to make a difference with common sense, morality, character building, and value. I sought to establish an atmosphere where many players could walk away fairly satisfied or content in our online ventures, regardless of the outcome or any heated backstory that would or could pop up from people or other clans. Like being a voice of reason during countless times of uncertainty or doubt or disbelief that plagued the community's general continuation. I honestly can't play at the level of intensity or tactical, aggressive awareness as I could before. Once upon a time, I could keep up with Numties and Aswin and Z-Dash and Straxus, Optimus and Ethan and Rashim and Omega Saccharin, and many other names of legend through the history of even my time through this community. I could keep up with them all, mentally and competitively, but I can't hold that mindset right now. Playing so many years under stress and anger, it led to a competitive block. And now, relaxing more, I honestly don't have that drive now because of that past choice that I had in picking up this game so many times in anger or frustration because there's something that I needed to do or that I had to do. It wasn't something that could be on terms of fun or general contentment. It always had to be for some type of negative means that I would pick it back up again at a time when I probably wanted to put it back down. And then when I kept playing it, I kept playing it toxically and religiously at the same time. More religiously after a while than toxic, but it was founded on toxic means. Playing WFC came very natural over time, and hell, I was able to even become a god at that game myself over time. And I still can mostly sustained my status over there for the most part, and my skills, while rusty as fuck probably, don't really change now. Here on FOC I wasn't as lucky, unfortunately, to have a really blissful circle that I was originally playing with in this community. I'm not gonna force it. I feel taking a brief break from the full competitive scene is the best course of action to do to help myself some, for once, and just be off to myself for a while. So I don't burn myself out further from constant or continual one-on-ones and 2v2s or any other excess competitive exposure. I just don't have it in me to keep going, and so I just want to sit down. Taking my leave of the competitive scene at the moment, I will continue to make a difference in this community as I've been doing. For now, I'll just sit and watch the community still as it continues its evolution here amidst past and current players, still seeking to meet one another. And on that note, that basically wraps up my whole semi-retirement speech here. It's pretty clear cut. I know it's long as hell, but it is a worthwhile read. So, if there's any other questions, comments, or concerns out there, viewers, you know where to reach me. And thank you for listening. That means a lot that after all these years we were actually able to get to the end game, and miraculously everything is still more or less in one piece. I don't know how the hell we got here, but we're here, and we've done it. And I owe it to you guys out there for your support, wherever you are out there. Peace. And as always, till all are one.